What's going on, guys? Super Savage 789 here, bringing you guys a video. Today we're doing War of Tenshinhan Train Gohan Part 3. In the last part, we covered how the events on Namek went, with the slight differences present. It ultimately led to Gohan and Goku both achieving Super Saiyan and heading to Yardrat where they learned instant transmission. Meanwhile, Tenshinhan trained much harder on King Kai's planet and learned the Kaioken, with Chaozu having gotten advanced telekinesis thanks to Guru. About a year and a half after the defeat of Frieza on Namek, Bulma would be hanging out with Krillin and Yamcha and supporting gang like Oolong and Puar. Here though, she would have her baby already, since I mentioned that her and Vegeta's relationship occurred slightly earlier. As they're hanging out though, a man none of them recognize begins to approach them. They're all on guard, but the man quickly diffuses the situation, telling them to be calm. He would talk about how he knows where Goku and Gohan will arrive from, and asks if they want to come with him. Naturally, they do agree. Along the way, the other Z-Fighters except for Vegeta would all meet up in the wasteland, where they begin waiting around. As they're waiting around though, Future Trunks decides to explain who he is, since there is no risk of him not being born this time. After showing off Super Saiyan for a brief moment, they all do believe him. Goku and Gohan would arrive in their Yardrati attire, and head over to the group. This would be the first time in over a year Gohan has seen Tenshinhan or Chaozu, so he'd be rather happy to see them. Now that everyone is there, Trunks would explain in front of them all about the androids and the heart virus. He would then head back to the future. Gohan would approach Tenshinhan and Chaozu and would ask them to train with him some more. He calls back to Namek and how he lost control of his emotions. It was rather scary for him, and he doesn't want to do that again. He does have his emotions in check for right now, but if that happens again, he doesn't want to endanger everyone. The duo would agree, and so Goku decides that they should all train together. Over the 3 years, Tenshinhan will be trying to learn to raise the Kaioken multiplier higher than he had it before. With Goku there, he's able to raise the multiplier to 30 times at a stretch, though it does put a significant strain on his body to do so. As for Gohan, he'd make sure to do more emotional training during this time. He'd be making sure to always keep his emotions in check, so that when he does use Super Saiyan, his rage doesn't consume him. I don't think Gohan would get grade 4 through this training, as he isn't staying in Super Saiyan constantly, but he's definitely very close to achieving said form. As for Goku, I think his power would be slightly above his canon self. This is due to him having 3 training partners, with one of them having the Super Saiyan form. It also leads to Chaozu being much stronger, to the point where he will be strong enough to actually participate in the android fight. Over with Piccolo, he continued getting even weaker and being left behind by the Z-Fighters, to the point where I say he'd be relative to slightly weaker than Krillin. He'd be getting less gains throughout, and missed his fusion with Nail, leading to worse gains for himself. So training alone for this amount of time will leave him in the dust, merely dwelling on his rage. Of course, the 3 years pass, and everyone heads over to the city. Bulma would be there without Trunks though, since he'd be a 3-year-old, and would be at an age where our parents looking after him would be a lot safer. Everyone heads into the city, and Dro would still body Yamcha. They move to the wasteland, and Goku fights 19, where he succumbs to the heart virus. Chaozu would be the one to take Goku away instead of Yamcha though. Gohan would go to step in and fight 19, but that's when Vegeta arrives, where he fights and kills 19 like normal. Dro would then escape. As they are looking around for him, Dro would jump Piccolo and begins absorbing his energy. With no relationship to the others to call for them, and with him being weaker, Dro is able to take Piccolo's energy, leaving him knocked out. The Z-Fighters would sense his ki drop, and Gohan teleports over where he stops Dro killing the Namekian. Dro would then escape with both his arms. Begrudgingly, they would give Piccolo a senzu bean, and he'd end up punching Gohan for taking too long. Before any more conflict starts, Trunks arrives and tells them they need to focus and find Jiro, and so Bulma gives them the directions. Yamcha would then offer to take Bulma and Yajirobe home instead of Gohan. They would find his lab right as he awakens 17 and 18. They kill Jiro and awaken 16 where they begin to leave. The Z-Fighters then catch up to the androids where they all prepare for combat. Here we get to see some differences in Future Trunks and how he fights, being much more sneaky and using cheap tricks like an assassin would. He still loses his sword however. Gohan and Tenshinhan would be using their strongest forms as well, and when working together, they're able to do a little to 18 to make her have to defend herself and stop playing around. When Tenshinhan's Kaioken gives out though, 18 finally knocks him out and overpowers Gohan with the help of 17. Krillin would give everyone a senzu bean, and then everyone leaves to do their typical things. I still think Piccolo approaches Kami, but here Kami would be much more adamant about not fusing with his evil heart. While he's definitely more tame, there's nothing to stop him killing Goku right now. Plus he's still too weak, and fusing with Kami wouldn't be worth the time. Instead, Kami offers Piccolo to use the time chamber to train in. While Piccolo doesn't like this option, he'd agree and heads in the White Void. Meanwhile, the Z-Fighters would find the second time machine like usual. With Piccolo in the time chamber, Kami would contact Tenshinhan and ask him to go investigate Ginger Town. Naturally, he'd agree, and so he'd arrive in the desolate town. After looking around and finding clothes laid everywhere, Tenshinhan would meet Cell. He'd begin investigating him like Piccolo did though, and he wouldn't sacrifice an arm to do that. He would fake weaknesses though until he learns all he needs. After learning that, he'd power up to 10 times Kaioken ready to destroy Cell. He'd escape however a well-timed Taioken. Like in canon, everyone would be waiting around for Goku to awaken, and he does. He goes and gets Vegeta, and the 4 Saiyans all head up to the lookout to go and train in the time chamber. As they arrive, they see Piccolo standing outside it, looking rather angry. Goku would note this, and realizes that Piccolo must have gone in. He tells Piccolo that he's gotten really strong, making Piccolo scoff. He tells Goku that after the androids are dead, he'll kill him. Goku smirks, telling Piccolo that he can't wait, as Piccolo flies off to lookout to go and fight the androids. Piccolo would end up locating 17 and begins to fight him. He'd be weaker than Kamikolo in canon to a noticeable degree, leading to 17 beating Piccolo down with relative ease. Due to his smugness, 17 would be taking his time beating him up. He ultimately picks up Piccolo and blasts him through the chest, throwing him into the ocean, telling them that he hopes Son Goku will be stronger. This buys enough time for Cell to appear. He shows up and absorbs 17 before anyone can react. Semi-perfect Cell then turns to 18 ready to absorb her, but 16 rushes in. He gets stomped and broken apart, leaving him in a similar condition to canon. Then Tenshinhan shows up. He begins to power up, raising his Kaioken higher and higher. He gets it to 30 times and realizes it won't be enough. He begins pushing himself further, briefly achieving 50 times. He then lets out a shout of Neo Kiko Ho, unleashing a massive blast on the Semi-Cell. He fires a couple blasts, which in this timeline, completely annihilates the bug monster. Tenshinhan collapses to the ground, his muscles aching as he struggles to breathe. He would quickly lose consciousness, smiling at his victory. He would then mentally apologize to Chaozu and Gohan, remembering that 18 is nearby and will probably finish him off. Goku then arrives using instant transmission. He would take Piccolo out the water and gives both Piccolo and Tenshinhan a senzu bean to make sure they live. Piccolo then swiftly fly off in a rage, not wanting to even look at Goku or the androids, enraged at his weakness. Goku would then look at 18, asking if they're going to fight now. She tells him no, still distraught over her brother's death. Goku then looks at the broken 16 and realizes what he did. He asks Tenshinhan to take 16 to Bulma's, which shocks both Tenshinhan and 18. Goku explains how he doesn't seem like a bad guy, and he tried to stop Cell, so he should get repaired. Goku then teleports to Lookout to go and train with his son. In the time chamber, it won't take long for Goku or Gohan to achieve grade 4. Gohan is already on the verge of achieving it, and they're both starting off in Super Saiyan to begin with. I also think that Gohan will be able to achieve Super Saiyan 2 and be able to use it freely. Goku would be amazed by his son's progress and congratulates him on achieving the power. The duo would exit the time chamber where Vegeta would challenge Goku to a fight. Naturally, Goku accepts and proceeds to body Vegeta using grade 4 against his grade 2. Vegeta would be shocked by this and is even more shocked when Goku tells him that Gohan had found a power beyond that of Super Saiyan. Gohan would then show it off, leaving everyone amazed by his display of power. Vegeta would then leave, both angry and confused. Food Trunks then return back to his future, dispatching the android and Cell like in canon, which is where we're going to leave off part 3 for right now. If you enjoyed, remember not hit the like button, it supports the channel and lets me know you want to see a part 4 really quickly. I'm really enjoying the direction the series is going in. I quite like what I've done. I didn't really think the idea had much potential at first, but clearly it did. And, you know, part 4 is going to have some major changes, so be excited for that. And, yeah, bye!